welcome back to the channel. This is just going to be a really quick little video before Star Wars comes out, because that comes out tomorrow and I'm very excited. Before that, I just wanted to do a really quick video on Jumanji, The Next Level. Anyway, I saw it and I just want to give a quick little review. So if you know anything about Jumanji, you probably should. It was a board game from a film back in the 90s. You play the board game and you get stuck in it. And then they remade it and now you play the video game and you get stuck in it. Groundbreaking. This is essentially almost the same movie, but I still very much enjoyed it. It's just pretty much a fun, enjoyable sort of family movie. And how much can you hate those? So the start of this film is kind of slow. It basically flicks between the characters of the first film and then their grandparents are involved for some reason now. Going over what happened from the last sort of film and where the characters are all at now. And then they get sucked into the video game and that's when, I'm telling you, that's when things really kick off. So quickly, I would say also, if you haven't seen the first Jumanji, and by the first Jumanji, I mean the Jumanji that came out a few years ago, not the one that came out in the 90s, you probably should watch that first. They've just added it on Netflix, you know, probably to make people go watch this movie. Go on, chuck that on before you watch this film, I would recommend that. It's basically the same characters. I mean, you probably could get away with it, but you also wouldn't really know what happened in the first film when they talk about it. So yeah, you know, just check it on, it's on Netflix. Anyway, standout performances in this: The Rock, Jack Black, Karen Gillan. They're all great again. Who's the other one? Kevin Hart. How did I forget Kevin Hart? He's probably like one of the best parts of this film. They're all great again. The Rock is basically playing Danny DeVito, which is quite something to watch. It's quite good. Kevin Hart is playing Danny Glover, who is also, to be honest, that is probably one of my most favourite parts of this film. Kevin Hart was easily the standout for me. He was just, I just found it so funny. So this is very relatable. If you've ever tried to explain something to an older person, like a video game or anything like that, it's just basically this film is that the younger kids trying to explain to their grandparents what a video game is. It's just very funny. And also the storyline is pretty much the same as the first one. It's get the thing and take it to the place, and there's a bad guy trying to stop you, and we're in Jumanji. So anyway, there's a couple of new characters. Like I said, Danny DeVito. Danny DeVito plays the grandparent of the main kid. I don't know his name. Danny Glover plays, I know this name, Milo, because he's probably one of the best parts of the film, who is Kevin Hart. He basically plays Danny Glover. It's just very fun to watch. So this film is basically, like I'm saying again, it's basically the first film with a couple new additions. Like the game's slightly evolved and it's added new characters and added a new level. So anyway, I'm probably going to end this here really quick because I'm just waiting for Star Wars, if I'm honest. I would recommend going to see this film. If you've seen Star Wars, you know, by the time this is out, you could probably, if you're probably looking for something to watch, this is a good film. If you don't want to go watch Star Wars while it's absolutely packed, go watch this film because like I said, you just can't really hate it. It's just a fun sort of film. Okay, quickly, spoilers. Obviously at the end, they all get out of the game, none of them lose any lives, no one dies. Milo decides to stay as a flying horse. Who knows why? At the very end, when they're having a meal in the cafe, is probably one of the most interesting parts. That's when you see the Jumanji game evolve and basically come out into the real world. So there's going to be a setup for a third film. Well, there is a setup for the third film, which is that. So I'm actually quite excited to see what that's like. And I'm questioning, do the video game characters come out and then they play the actual video game character versions of themselves in the real world? So the guy who's got the giant backpack and who's like an animal expert is actually in real life and is an animal expert and talks to the kids. That would be very interesting to see. So I'm very excited for that. Like I said, go see this film. It's a good film, it's probably worth your money. Watch the first one on Netflix to make it more worthwhile. And also the fight scenes were very good. Karen Gillan, she's just good at fight scenes, isn't she? I hope I'm saying her name right. The Rock is obviously going to be good at fight scenes, and Kevin Hart is just funny. I haven't even talked about Jack Black. Jack Black is probably not as funny as he is in the first film, but it's still pretty good to watch him do his thing. Overall, I'd say this film is probably like, if the first Jumanji a few years ago is here, the one that's just come out is probably here. So you know, not as good, but go watch it. Anyway, subscribe because Star Wars, I will probably do a review on that at 4 AM when I get home. Maybe.